So we are installing the Maxxfan in the roof to help with air circulation. It's pretty much crucial. So what you gotta do first is measure out a 14 by 14 inch hole that you're gonna mount the fan in. I've seen a lot of people trace out their holes from underneath. And if you have like a van with a metal roof, that works because you'll have the ribs on the inside, so it's easy to tell. But on this fiberglass roof, it's pretty difficult to tell where you are on the top of the van from the inside. So we're gonna measure like our solar panel, how much space that's gonna take up in the back, and then leave enough room for the fan to operate. So that's sort of what I've got drawn out here. So what I did to center it was there's a little bit of a bulge because of the shade, you can't see, but there's an edge right here and an edge right over here. And so at a couple different points along the length of the vehicle, I measured the halfway point and put a mark, and then I just traced them with a ruler and drew a straight line. And then using that, I lined up the center holes of the flange directly over that center line, and then take a Sharpie and go around to the four corners on the inside and put little marks. It would be nice if you could just like Sharpie on the outside corners, but because of the flange, it's kind of hard to get one in there. So I like to put those inside marks first, and then you can measure 7 inches on either side. And you'll kind of see like this corner, that inside mark was right here, and then I sort of just like split the difference between all the corners and drew a line out at 45 degrees from the center. I just kind of kept going until the total distance from side to side was 14 inches. And then you can make your four corner marks, connect all those with the ruler, and then just double check it one more time, make sure it's 14 inches by 14 inches. The painter's tape will help cut down the dust, or so I'm told. We'll see. I'm going to use an angle grinder to cut through the fiberglass.
Another nice thing to do is set up a bag so it can catch all the debris, so you don't have to have shards of fiberglass or metal, whatever you're cutting through, all over the ground.
Okay, we're gonna start by drilling out the four corners that I've marked. So here we go. We did it. We got rid of everything off the roof that we don't want to get covered in fiberglass dust. I got a nice like little rain jacket on. I'm gonna use mouth protection, eye protection, some gloves. Probably still gonna get all covered, but we'll see what happens. So I'm just gonna cut on this line that I've drawn between the holes. So I just traced around the line that I drew because I wanted to make sure I didn't lose sight of it if it got really dusty up here. And also making some little grooves around the whole thing will help guide the blade while I start to make deeper cuts. All right, so we got all the way through it. Just attached a few spots. Ta-da! So once you've got your hole cut for the fan, you will need the mounting screws that come with it. Installation instructions are good to keep nearby. And then the things that don't come with the fan you need to have are some kind of solvent. They recommend acetone, so I'm going to use that. Butyl tape, 3M 4200 caulk gun. I decided to go with 4200 because I've heard some complaints about Dicor lap sealant, which is another popular one to use. I think the 4200 is just a little bit more heavy duty, so we're going with that. So we're gonna take the butyl tape and we're gonna lay it down right over the screw holes, just directly dead center on those. So I got the butyl tape on it, and these silver brackets go to the outsides of the vehicle. And set it down, and then I'm just gonna press down all around it. So since our roof is curved a little bit this way and it's not curved this way, I'm gonna do the middle screws first, front to back, and then I'm gonna work my way outward with the screws. So I'm just kind of like melding it to the curve evenly. 3M 4200 sealant, just go all the way around the outside and cover all the screw holes to make sure nothing leaks through. And then you mount the fan, make sure it's open. For the non-electric models, you pop this knob out and twist it. And then there's the little mounting holes right here on the side. Those will line up with the flange and we'll mount it. So we put it on, but the holes didn't quite line up. So we saw someone lift up these little tabs about a 1/4 inch or so, and I think that's gonna be the little trick that makes it work. So let's try this again. Yeah, I think that's gonna do the trick. So then you take the 4 3/4 of an inch screws, and if you're doing this while the sealant is still drying, you're gonna want to be careful not to get it on you. So once you've got your Maxxfan installed in the ceiling through the top, for a lot of people it'll stay like that for a little while because we didn't have our ceiling installed and we didn't have the batteries in. So a good thing to do is test the fan before you install it, just to make sure it works, because ours was installed in our roof for a couple weeks before we hooked it up to the batteries. Underneath this flange, it's sort of like about 1 inch wide, so that'll give you some room when you're installing your ceiling. Just leave a little bit of a gap, and then when you put the flange in, that will cover that part up and it looks nice and clean when you're done. We ran wires from here down to the battery banks, and then that connects to the fan and it runs off 12 volts, so it's super efficient. But we've been living in the van for about a month now, which gives us a good time to reflect on how it's been working. It has settings to do intake and exhaust, and we intentionally put the fan right above where our cooking stove is. So for cooking, it sort of acts as a hood to suck the air out as we're cooking. And then it works well for intake too, blowing some air in. One complaint we have is we noticed it doesn't blow straight down when it's on intake mode. It sort of like blows out to the sides, which is sometimes nice when we are in our bed and shoots the air out sideways. To wrap up, we really enjoy having this Maxxfan in our roof. Keeps the climate in our van super comfortable all the time. Definitely worth the price of the investment. If you're interested, we're going to have an affiliate link below in the description, so check that out. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one.